Hello and welcome everyone to another episode. Yes, so we're back to Sandbox. I have been putting this off for way too long. I think I said I was going to do this like 2 weeks ago. And yeah, so actually it's probably been more than 2 weeks, but yeah, so we're finally ready to go. Everything's squared away. I made sure that there's enough fuel and there's just enough of everything, but I have not been looking forward to this as much as I love playing this game. Certain things involving lots and lots of play time and just spending an obscene amount of hours just playing this game, that's the only thing. So yeah, to Duna with everything, and we have 9 rockets total. I'm going to try to do it the same exact format as I did I believe my 200th episode, but we have some minor things to celebrate, I guess. You know, I'm up to 2,000 subs this year, which it took me about a year to get, to about 1,000, and then within, like, about 4 months, or actually I should say now that we're into 7 months of this year, I'm already up to 2,400 or 2,400 or so. I don't like to check because it's one of those kind of things where if you keep checking it and checking it, you're inevitably going to let yourself down with just, well, you keep checking it, it's just not a good thing. I'll just put it that way. For those of you who are looking to start channels, please don't check your subscriber count like every 5 minutes, because when you lose 2 or lose 1, then you're like, oh, now I'm down. But yeah, so let's see. I'm not going to set these up absolutely perfectly. I'm going to make adjustments as we get there. As long as everything's, relatively on the money, I am not going to complain. Which, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure we could sink this down a little bit lower, but I don't know what we can get here. Alright, that made it worse. Let's just sink this down a little bit that way. 25.2. Yeah, this is some of the things that it just drive me nuts about interplanetary travel and such. It really kind of, these nodes just aren't sensitive enough. I would love to have like a calculator or something in this game to where it would make it just a slight bit easier, and you gotta keep kind of messing with stuff, and oh god, that made it really bad. So let's see, 28, we got it down to about 20, and I'm not gonna complain with that. That is actually relatively okay, I guess, for setting up a node like this. Usually I can get it down to about 2 if I actually first leave the influence of Kerbin and then set up all of the nodes and all that other stuff and just make everything absolutely perfect. But yeah, so let's see here. What is our burn time? That is going to be the great question. I really don't know. See, we're operating, when I took off, I ended up leaving this stage on here, and this is a 70 or about an 80 or so ton rover, fully unpacked. That's without all of the other engines and all the other stuff that's attached to it. There is the one thing I always forgot to mention about this, even from the past, because this is a kind of a copy of my moon rover. And I believe I sent 2 of these. Actually, no, I ended up changing the design a little bit here and there. But with this design, I also put on ion engines on the back of it. And surprisingly enough, I ended up kind of testing this out. And it does work. It actually kind of gives it a little bit of a boost. The ion engines, I'm not going to say push it along really far, but they do kind of help a little bit. They give it a little bit of just a slight push, just all you need to get up hills and stuff, because you're talking 80 tons moving up a hill, incline, it's not really going to go very well. So let's just do a little test burn here. I'm pretty sure this isn't going to be the greatest idea. Actually, I think I'm going to wait. What I'll do is I think I'm going to wait until we get down to about maybe 3 minutes here, and then I'll just kind of do a little bit of a test burn, because 3 minutes is fair enough. I'm thinking this is probably going to be around a 7-minute burn, to be honest, but I really don't know. I'll start at 3:30. I think that will be the best. So yeah, I'm looking forward. This episode, though, we will only be taking everything there. I don't have any plans on really unpacking anything. Okay, this is not going to be a 7-minute burn. See, I'm just curious as to whether or not these engines, this main engine here, because this is giving us a good portion of thrust, and whether that is actually going to hold out the entire burn, which I'm pretty sure it's not going to. So I think I should start my burn around here. If anything, I'll make corrections afterwards. Let's see, I'll bring it down. I'll start exactly maybe on 2 minutes or so. This is the main issue when it comes to multiple engines and not enough fuel, because this has a decent amount of fuel, but I am not expecting us to complete this entire burn with just this. So there's a part of me that thinks it's going to run out before this burn is through, and I'm pretty sure that is going to be the case. Let's see, and I'm pretty sure with this main stage here, we got way more fuel than we'll ever need. And I also ended up putting a docking port here too, just in case we get to Duna and there is still a substantial amount of fuel in here. We will transfer a good portion of it out, move it over to the fuel depot. That way we don't have to worry too much about all of that and wasting just tons and tons of fuel. But I am not 100% certain with this stage here on how much thrust we're going to get out of it. It is a lot of nuke engines, but also we are pushing a very, very massive load. So I really am just curious as to what is going to happen. So yeah, this is just amazing, because we'll be working on a Duna space station, the space station in our modded series, and I believe I'm going to restart the career mode, because it's only fair enough. The career mode, I'm enjoying it. It's just the progression is few and far between as far as everything I do during each episode. It always kind of, it's either lacking or it's not lacking or whatever. I always kind of have just been a little hesitant on career mode because it's never perfect or anything of the sort. So, but we'll be able to fix most of that. And I'm thinking with, oh god, I'm thinking with the rest of this, we should be relatively okay. Now, I guess I kind of overstated myself, at least in some sense. I think I'm going to wait a little bit, and then I'm going to continue the burn. That way it will kind of even things out a little bit. Probably not much, but whatever. Let's see. What do we got? Well, let's see if we even got an encounter yet, because we could just completely pass the encounter, which would not be good. But the nodes are going to be a little bit off because I started early. I don't know how much, but I'm hoping it isn't going to be too bad. Let's see. What do we got? No, that's perfectly fine. I'm very much okay with that. Maybe I can mess around a little bit. The problem is that with this particular craft, I put a lot of SAS on it for control, but it really didn't do a lot, and it really doesn't help out much. So what I'm going to do is we will be launching, well, at least from Kerbin, our other 8 rockets, and this is just going to be a very kind of long video of me launching everything and just arriving to Duna. So anyways, I will see you when we get all 9 rockets to Duna. And we're back, guys. This is looking pretty good. I am a little bit upset, but I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. I think slowing down is going to cost a little bit more than what I expected it to, but I should have gotten closer encounters. That was probably my fault from the beginning, but whatever. And plus, these aren't very great orbits. That's all I can say. Polar orbit, basically. Whatever. We'll be able to fix that relatively easily. I want to kind of work on it more once we get closer in, but yeah, so right now we're going to start our burn. I'm pretty happy about all this. This is taking a little bit longer than expected. I had to take phone calls. I figured I would get this done in about an hour. Yeah, it's generally not a good idea to think that something in Kerbal Space Program is only gonna take you just an hour, because then pretty soon 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours rolls by, and then you're like, oh, why did I even try? But no, it's friggin' amazing. That's all I gotta say. It's absolutely awesome. I can't even see Duna. Oh, there it is. There's Duna. Hello, Duna. We will be... I'm not sure if some of these I'm actually going to fix 100%. Depending on fuel cost and everything else, I'm not sure. Some of these ships, not each one of them, but... Oh, actually, I should say almost all of them. They have parts on them that also need to go to other places. Like, you guys can see a lot of these fuel tanks on some of my ships. These fuel tanks I will be reusing, but this major portion right here I'm not going to be reusing at all. Some of them, it just really honestly depends on what ship, where it's going, what have you. And, you know, I try to make it as efficient of a trip, but the only problem with the efficiency, at least during this trip, I learned a little bit of a lesson, is to get closer to the planet. You can slow down a little bit easier, not to mention with, not Joule, with Duna you can also aero brake, but I didn't really plan on aero braking with any of this stuff. It really isn't necessary, but we did expend a bit more fuel than what I wanted to. But overall, it was a pretty good trip. That's all I gotta say. Hopefully, the rest of the stuff I will be getting into orbit, basically all in time warp, and yeah, well, not in time warp, but with it all sped up. So I figured, you know, we could just have a little bit of some lead time here until everything gets pretty well. I really hope that this isn't going to cause much of an issue, but I should be doing my burn at the periapsis, but whatever. Well, you know, I'll go to the periapsis. Why not? I don't know why I even bothered, but actually I don't know. Is it gonna cost more fuel though? That's the good question. Doing the burn out here, usually doing the burn further out kind of helps you out a little bit. Come on. Usually it's very good with trying to set it up. Oh no, yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that will expend a little bit more fuel, but I mean, that really, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's going to matter so much. So we'll just do it right here. Go on, fire up the engine. I don't know, my keyboard I think is dying. Come on, fire up, please. All right, yeah. So just, I guess I had to breathe some new life into my keyboard. Yeah, that just, it's always absolutely amazing when your stuff just fails on you while you're trying to use it. It's just absolute beauty. So let's, come on, let's get into orbit already. It's taking way too long for me. I'm too antsy. Come on, get going. So I hope you guys are liking the modded series. I should jump onto that for a little bit. The modded series I am actually looking forward to a lot more of, and I'm actually really enjoying how everything is kind of coming together, how just absolutely awesome everything is becoming. And as far as just building the space station, I do have plans for building other things. The one thing I want to build is going to require the weld mod, which I don't know if they're even... It's very up in the air. The creator of the welding mod, I can't think of the actual name of the mod. It's like Ubuntu or something like that, weld mod. The creator has been actually active on the forums, and he has been talking about getting it up and going again, but I really don't know how far we're going to get, or if it's even going to actually get to the point where it gets released again. So I'm really praying for that. If there's anybody out there who knows anything about the weld mod, or if it is even functional, or there is a way to make it functional in the latest build, I would really love to get information on that. I'll probably repeat this in a couple other videos because I really like the welded mod. That was by far the most favorite mod I've ever had compared to anything else. Just absolutely awesome. But anyways, guys, I will be speeding this up, and I'll see you once everything is in orbit. So, yeah. We've done it. Amazing. So, this looks pretty messy. I am not very satisfied with this, but what ended up happening, and I think I should mention this, and just to clear up a lot of stuff, this was my first time trying a launch directly from Kerbin, where instead, before, I was trying to save fuel and try a different method, and it was something I've been reading about a little bit, and yeah, I kind of botched it slightly. I don't think I did the best possible way, and it really didn't work out the best way, put it that way. So it worked. We made it here. We got all 9 ships here. A few of them are slightly low on fuel, but what I will be doing in the meantime is cleaning up a lot of these orbits, and we'll pick up that. Jesus, that just looks disgusting. Well, we will be picking up, and I'll get some of this stuff in parking orbits and certain things like that, and then we will start construction. I'm thinking of sending down maybe the bases first, and then starting construction on the station, and just kind of adding a few pieces here and there as we go. So anyways, guys, if y'all like what you see here, subscribe. There's always more to come. To all you new people, welcome. And yeah, I will see you next time.